Just getting a post-match interview here at Yarnton Road following today's 3-1 victory here against Kidlington. Dave, obviously had to do it the hard way as always, to come from behind. I thought in the first half, we dominated the ball, like absolutely bossed it, but I felt that we, in the final third, probably weren't. The first 2/3 of the pitch were very good, but I felt like we came to the ball quite a lot and didn't really turn or stretch them. But obviously, we must have changed it in the second half because we seemed to mix it up a little bit, and ultimately that proved the difference in the end.
Well, we said exactly the same thing at half time, to be fair. So, look, give credit to them. I think they set up, I think they played a 5 and a 4 and just a single guy up top, and they looked to do exactly what they did and play on the break. And they've scored one from it. They could have certainly had a second, or they had a great opportunity for a second. And at times we were sort of chasing where we'd given it away high up. We'd got a little bit impatient, and then it broke on us too easy and caused us a few problems. So you have to, like I say, first of all, you have to give them a lot of credit. But you're right. We said at half time exactly that. We look, at half time we had to go for one, because I just felt that we were. I felt 4 of the 11, well 5 with the goalkeeper, were the only guys on their game, and a lot of them were you know, they were out there, but they looked like it was making hard work of it, and hence we were not giving them enough problems, if you like, in simple terms.
I don't think a lot of our actual approach play was actually too bad. I thought at times we actually played some quite good stuff in the first half, but I just felt like we didn't. It was all good up until the final third, and also as well when they go in front as well, it then gives them something to defend, which obviously made it harder for us as well.
Yeah, you're right, but of course they let us at times have all the play up to the final third. You know, they were quite happy to sit back, so it's quite easy to look good when you're popping it from left to right, and they've got 2 or 3 people chasing it, and we've got a lot of yellow shirts. It was once we got high up into the final third where they had them 2 banks, that then we struggled to break them down. Look, it was 1 or 2, it was a couple of 3 really good bits of play that in the end the final ball or the decision on the final ball was quite poor. Yeah, as I say, so it didn't, as I say, they get a goal and they're quite happy to sit there with it. So we spoke at half time about stretching them. We got into them a little bit, and I felt that second half, I don't think anybody's levels were under a 7. I thought everyone was outstanding, and Amir started to stretch him and started to cause him real problems. George started to get at him. You know, Lee started to get on the ball and some clever balls through. You know, and all of a sudden the front 3 that I didn't think had been as good first half got better, and then Charlie, who was, you know, he looked off his game first half. The turnaround was unreal, because I thought second half he just shone, you know, and most of our good stuff started with him, and then that allowed the guys with him to play. So yeah, look, for once, you know, we managed to change it and put it right, make you know, the adjustments at half time, which we did, and then we got a great response.
It does help having the I would say we didn't make those changes straight away, but it did help today, obviously, as well, that we had some strong options on the bench as well.
Yeah, we had great options today, and that's probably the first time in a long time. And we didn't even bring Simo on today. We only because we were probably going to make a change for change's sake, just to get him on. Went to a back 3. I mean, we haven't started Kamani today. We rested him. He's been a little bit under the weather this week at work, so we rested him, but he come on and probably just sorted it up. And you're right, you know, to be able to bring Temi on, who won us the 3rd penalty late on, and you know, the changes we were able to make were great for us really today. I think they've all had a big contribution. It's nice to get Ben on. Look, it was only really a case of coming on and working hard, and Bondi comes on and gets 2 penalties. So you can imagine what he's got to say about himself. He thinks he's getting man of the match. So that's how Bondi's done.
James, we were just saying before we came on, it's unusual for there to be not only 3 penalties in a game, but also 3 successfully converted penalties at the same time. But there wasn't really any doubt in any of the penalties that were awarded.
No, they're all clinical finishes, weren't they? From the 2 penalty takers, Lee and Bondi. And I can't think of any game that I've been involved with here at all. And I've been here every year apart from the first season, so I can't recall any. Can you? Hat-trick of A, of having penalties, and then B, scoring all three. I can't think of any.
Lee's a stat man. I would have suggested. The only game I remember was the two that were against the side on the 3G.
Edgware.
No, we got two. Alex Marsh done, think, two down the middle.
Yaxley.
Yaxley. I remember that game, but I don't remember anything else. But the good thing is that we got in their box and caused the problems, and 3 different players earned them by driving into their box. So that was what's nice to see. And at the moment, look, we're scoring. We're done all right for a change. We usually lose penalty shootouts and we usually miss penalties, and
we're scoring them for fun at the minute.
At the moment, touch wood, and let's hope we do up till Saturday.
James, also, how much do you think when we've come here in the past, let's say, no disrespect to them, but the pitch is always a difficult surface to try and play football on, but the pitch here today was absolutely outstanding. How much do you think that sort of helped us this afternoon?
Well, the pitch is in incredible condition, so yeah, the ground staff have done really, really well, and it certainly helps both teams to play some decent football. And obviously, selfishly from our perspective, it certainly helps the way that we like to try and play. And I agree with what you said, Lee, the way that we played the first half through the sort of our middle third, I thought was some brilliant play. It was just that final pass and being sort of ruthless and clinical and making that right decision. So it certainly helped, and it's fair play to them. It's a lovely surface.
Excellent stuff. Obviously, I would say probably one minor critique, because obviously it's a positive. We got the 3 points, was maybe our lack of game management in the closing stages. I felt like we didn't quite look after the ball as possibly we could have done to make life easier for us in the final few moments.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of basketball, wasn't it, at times? But I think the good thing about it was, despite us not maybe keeping the ball in their half as much as we should and getting drawing fouls and free kicks, which they did a couple of occasions. I agree with what you're saying, because I think ultimately we could have closed it out a lot sooner, maybe before we got the third penalty. But I think the positive side spin to that, Lee, is that we had a lot of the bodies around in case that breaks. It wasn't a case we were going gung-ho. It was a case we weren't keeping the ball as well as we probably could have done.
No worries. Obviously, Skip not here today, Dave. So we're looking for you to come up with a Kidlington-related innuendo before we close.
I'm not as clever as Skip. I just can't believe he keeps going away on golfing trips all the time. He used to be dedicated to the club, and now he just seems to every other week he's on a golfing trip.
Well, at least we know that the FA Cup prize money is being put to good use anyway. So speaking of the FA Cup, we look ahead to Canvey Island next Sunday, and we look forward to seeing you then.
Thanks, Lee.
Thanks, Lee.
Yeah, us too.